So for the second letter form manipulation, I want you guys to use the pen tool and add points or delete points. I had an idea with this other letter font that I was using over here, so I deleted the other font. And you guys can do that too. If you wanted to use the same font because you had a completely different idea for that, go ahead. You don't have to use a different font for all four, but all four of your pieces need to be different. Okay. So I'm going to use the same font that I used for this first one. Now, if you are completely done with this, and I don't like this tail, I think what I want to do, go back later, is come back and maybe change this. Arg. It's a problem with being picky if you don't like it, because then you're like, I'm going to change it. So oops. Yeah. Let me just go back to that one for right now. But let's recenter this on the page. Since I've done all these manipulations, I want to recenter this. So I'm going to select that and go to center that way and center that way. All right, so now it's recentered-ish. Maybe not totally visually, but mathematically it's centered. We'll just leave it at that. Now let's take this one, convert it to outlines, type, create outlines, Shift-Command-O. Okay. And with this one, I want to make some manipulations with the pen tool. So remember, with the pen tool, we could add points, right? Or if we hover over points that exist, we can delete points. Okay. All right. So deleting points also works. So if I wanted, like, on a little flatter top here, just play around with it, kind of see where it goes. This looks kind of comical. It kind of looks like a cobra. Anyway, I don't know what it is about dragons and snakes with me today, but there it is. But you can delete points. Let me try something totally different. Hovering over lines allows you to add points, remember, but if you want to change where those points are, you need to take your white direct select arrow and then move them after you add them. Okay, so if you wanted to add like little, points that move out like that, you could do that. That doesn't look like anything good, but if we wanted some sort of like scales back here, let me take my pen tool, boom, 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 adding a bunch of points. Then I can take my direct select, okay, and add some mumps. I don't know. I'm going to undo all that, try something else. What I'm seeing in my head right now is some sort of continuation of this line that goes straight. So I'm going to take my direct select here. If I select points and lines with my direct select, like I'm going to rubber band over this whole front end, and then I'll hit delete on my keyboard. And what that's going to do is it's going to completely delete all of those points. And this object is open now. It's not closed at all. It's basically open. If I turn this to an outline or just a stroke color, you can see that it's not closed. And if I want to close this object, I got to take my pen tool, go to one of these lines, and pick it up at one of the open lines, and then close it at the other open line. So now it's a closed object. Okay, and I know I just said a mouthful there, but just realize that when you take a bunch of points and delete them, it opens up your object. And it doesn't really look like it's open when it's when it has a fill color, but if you change it to a stroke color, it is open. And that might cause problems for you later on. So you need to learn to close your objects if you want them to be, not just open lines, and you want them to be closed filled objects and get used to closing them. So if this was your letter form and you wanted this maybe to come to a point, just take your pen tool, pick up from that open point or one of the open points, and then close it at the other open point. Okay, and we can turn that into just a point like that. Okay, it's not very smooth right now, but we'll talk about how to smooth those out later. Let me show you what I really wanted to do with this. This letter S. I want to open up both of these. Okay, and then I want to continue these in like a straight line right here. I think that might look kind of cool. So I'm going to take my pen tool, pick up right here, and then draw a straight line there. Come over here and close that right there. Now, that's not exactly what I wanted. Maybe I'll delete this point and then move this one up. And then take this handle right here to round that out a little bit. Okay? And for sake of time, I'm not going to spend too much time on this. But let's do something similar to that one as well. And that's not doing exactly what I want it to either. Okay, that's really what I did with that one, isn't it? I have to remember how I built this one so I can build this one the same way. You can also grab these handles and change the curve of the line by grabbing those handles too. Can you see why we're doing this exercise? I really want you all to learn how to manipulate these lines and points, these anchors, and these vector paths. Okay? All right. You can also, once you have a point selected, you can hit your arrow keys on your keyboard and move them, just nudge them bit by bit with your arrow key. Okay, so I'll click on that point and then hit my up arrow, my right arrow down, and manipulating that point. Okay, and now I'll change that to a fill color. Okay, so I want you guys to take the pen tool and add some different shapes to it. You could also draw a completely different letter form. So let me go back here. I'll close this one. Okay. And then with this one, I will draw. Notice how since it's open on both ends, it's trying to draw a shape between those open ends. So I'll close that. And then with this one, I'm going to pick up here and drag and draw a leaf. So here's a leaf. Oops. I hit the wrong key. Okay. Oops. I want to be right there, and then I'll click and drag. That didn't turn out the way I wanted it, so I'll manipulate it there. Okay. So now this stem, S for stem. How appropriate. Okay. So let me show you how I did that again, since I kind of got a little bit messed up there as I was drawing. So with this being open, I'm going to take my pen tool and click and draw a leaf. Oops, I forgot to close that. All right. So do the best you can with that pen tool. Remember with the pen tool from the pen tool tutorials that you did before, when you click, it lays down an anchor. And then when you click again, it lays down an anchor and draws a line in between those anchor points, okay, until you go all the way back around. All right, but if you click and drag, it does a curved line. Okay, and if you don't want it to do a curved line after you've clicked and dragged, then go back and click on that last anchor point again, and it won't do a curved line. It'll kind of let you reset that. Practice those things if you didn't do those tutorials. There is an additional tutorial on the pen tool on the Adobe website. So if you need more assistance with that, go to Adobe's website and learn how to use the pen tool. I think it's a very important tool. So there's a stem with a leaf for that one. Okay, and I'm going to center that on the page and save that and end this video. So first one, use the pencil tool to manipulate. Second one, use the pen tool to manipulate. Okay, and you can use the white direct select to delete parts of the letter form as well on both of them.